Hey, Redcasters, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Go Big Red. And let's start here, guys. First things first, quarterbacks. 2023 roster. Now, what we're going to show on the roster here is just scholarship players, except for one other guy, which we'll see on the next slide. So when someone says, "Oh, there's a couple of other quarterbacks," there are.
Where's Woj?
We're just going to focus on the ones that are on scholarship right now, and that's just because there's already 85 of them to go through. So as we look at this roster so far, Jeff Sims, Heinrich Harburg, Chubba Purdy. Kyle, you already started talking about Harburg at the beginning with your opening statement.
Yep.
And your hot take. And that is something that is interesting. We saw that this week on social media that they started to use Harburg, or at least they very strategically showed a video of Harburg catching a pass. I've said this a couple of times on the show, and I believe this thoroughly, that this guy is such a talent and he's can be a difference maker, his size and everything. I think they're going to try to find ways to get him on the field multiple ways. So it doesn't surprise me they showed that. But one thing that's consistent with these three guys, Sims, Harburg, and Purdy, is that they can run, they can use their legs, and Rule has certainly said that on multiple occasions.
Yeah. I mean, like, when I said my hot take, I just want to be full transparency here. Like, it was just because I needed a hot take. Now,
I don't think it's that bad of a take, though.
Right. I don't think so either. But Heinrich Harburg.
Harburg. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
How focused would you say your mental focus is?
That's all. I don't know if I can hear it, but
when you look at him, like, you'd have to imagine he would understand what happened with your boy that went to Rice. And is like, like, if somebody's telling me I should move to wide receiver or I could be successful in this system as a wide receiver, like, maybe I just make the move and just, trust what they're telling me, but who knows?
The thing about Rule, right, is when he came to Nebraska, one of the selling points was the whole development thing. And hey, you're going to have a guy playing this position, but he sees another position and he's going to ask you to embrace that other position and just try out and see how it goes. And so this could be a case of Rule sees something in Heinrich Harburg.
Thank you.
And maybe Heinrich is trusting Matt Rule's eye.
Well, and we've heard from Heinrich Harburg, and he said, at the moment, I am working at quarterback, but he is open to helping the team in any way. So I think if Heinrich Harburg is playing other positions, that's just one more thing the other team has to look into and think about. If you got number 10 out there and you got number 7, single digit, out there on the field at the same time, it's gonna raise some eyebrows.
How many times have I made the comparison between Harburg and a Taysom Hill type player? Where, again, like you said, you put him on the field and the defense doesn't know what the hell's going on out there. They don't know what to do, what to plan for. But in the same vein, sort of, one of the biggest pros I've heard about Jeff Sims coming into this season is his size and mobility. And we're looking at the numbers right up here on height and weight. Look at that. I mean, we show a 1 inch and 10-pound difference between Sims and Harburg. And so I find it funny that we're talking a lot about Jeff Sims' size and mobility, but not quite as much about Harburg in that same aspect, because I don't see a big difference between those two.
And we've seen Harburg dunk the basketball, all that. We know the skills he has. I think from a strategic standpoint, what you can do, if you bring Harburg out on the field every 5th play to run a wildcat, you're starting to just, the thing I would have been critical a year ago with Whipple of not being very creative. Getting him on the field in different situations. We asked the question on Twitter a couple days ago, what's he going to get the most of this year? Harburg, receptions, passes, or rushes? What number is he going to have the most of? Not how many yards, not how many touchdowns, just is he going to throw the ball more? Is he going to run the ball more or catch the ball more? And some people could not quite comprehend what that question was about. But the point was, we had just seen him catch a pass. If he can be on the field for 5 straight plays, and he lines up maybe 5 different ways, he can flex out. He could be he's big enough to maybe kind of be a tight end, or at least a flex tight end. He's fast enough to be a receiver. In some situations, he can line up in the backfield, maybe even get a handoff to him. And on the 5th play, he moves right over to Wildcat and runs an option like he did for 30 yards in the spring game. Meanwhile, you're never rotating. That's the key. If you every time, the only way you can ever bring him in is you have to bring him in from the sideline, then that stops the game, allows the defense to adjust too. If he's on the field already for 3 or 4 plays in a row, and now we choose on play 4 to have him be a wildcat, and you're not rotating anybody offensively to do it, the defense has to sit there and this is where you can create numbers differences. The defense has to sit there and go, okay, well, Harburg's now the quarterback.
Yeah.
And we didn't bring in a different alignment. Dave?
No, I mean, you finish your thought, and then I want to jump in.
No, I was kind of finished anyways. I was going to point to you.
Oh, your thought was I guess, I mean, intriguing idea there, and I think you're right. I mean, having him on the field for multiple plays, and then you can insert him into that position, and then you'd flex Jeff out, I guess. But, I mean, do you feel that he brings that much different of a skill set from a wildcat than what Jeff Sims would have on a normal play-by-play basis?
That's a great question. No.
Yeah, so I don't know what that would do to the defense. They'd be like, oh, well, it's a different quarterback. He's going to run the same offense, or he's just going to run the ball. I don't know if that really is true.
No, I don't think he brings a different skill set, but I do think they would probably run some things different with him. You notice in the spring game, they didn't run an option with Jeff Sims. Not that Jeff Sims isn't capable of running the option. All of us would agree he's capable and has the skill set to run it, but it wasn't until they throw Harburg in there, he runs the one option. And so, yes, do I think Jeff Sims is going to run an option this year? I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm option guy. I hope they're running option with Jeff Sims, but this might be a great opportunity to get Harburg on the field, get him some snaps in some, and just develop a player who I've heard people say, Honky, you're crazy. Why would you line him up receiver? Why would you hand him the ball? He's a quarterback. All right, fine. How are you developing the guy if he's standing on the sideline? How do you find ways to get him onto the field? Because Jeff Sims, you only got one spot. One player can play that, and Jeff Sims is going to be the guy.
Well, and to your point, I think however minimal it is, there is still that mental aspect of we don't know when that rotation is going to come, whether it be Sims or Harburg. There's still that's sitting in the back of the mind of a defense that you don't know when that's going to happen. Even if it's a minimal adjustment, they have to be ready for that at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think this could happen. I'm not going to say it can't, but I mean, Boomer, could this be one of those classic fall camp red herrings where something gets thrown out there and video shows up and everybody's like, ooh, this is going to happen. And then we never see Heinrich Harburg do any of this.
Yes. I think it's quite likely in this case. Yeah.
Boomer with hard cutting opinions right there.
Yeah. Rule tends to play stuff pretty close to the vest. I don't think he's going to show a lot of things that he's going to try to trick people with, this early on. He's going to save that for the actual season. So that's probably what we're seeing here. It's just giving other teams something to think about, and that possibility. If we do put him out there that, hey, what's he going to be doing? Maybe he's going to catch a play, go out for a pass, but we're actually just going to use him in a traditional quarterback role. Yeah, that's more likely, I would think, in this case. From what we've seen so far out of Rule. Yeah.
Last year, they did some of that. They ran some off option, put it on social media. Everyone saw it, and then, of course, we never did it.
Oh, yeah.
I love how Dave framed that, because the whole reason that we may not win the Kool-Aid Award is Dave wants to tamp that down. I want to get Rob at least so he can say something here on it. Well, let's get a little Kool-Aid in it. Rob, is Harburg going to lead the team in receptions? Come on.
Well, you're looking for Kool-Aid, and it's funny because my answer is already this. You know when we'll see that play? The Big Ten championship game.
Oh my God!
Damn it, Rob! Bookmark it.
Bookmark.
I was waiting for the Kool-Aid man to just burst through the wall behind them.
Yeah!
You just put those 5 seconds on your TikTok. I'm sure it'll blow up. I'm sure it'll blow up.
We'll get that. Yeah. Mike, we haven't heard from you as much. Do you have any kind of taking away moments, with the quarterback here? Any kind of final thoughts on it?
Not really. I would just say that I think we're confident in our guy in Jeff Sims. He is QB1. I think QB2 is kind of a conversation. We're talking about Harburg playing other positions. So does that tell us that Chubba is QB2? That's how I feel about it.
There's the question, Jared.
And that opens up another whole slew.
Jared, I'll ask you the question, Jared. And fingers are crossed, red casters, no blockers, everything out there. Nothing's going to happen bad to Sims, but he has a hangnail. And he has to be brought out for one play because of that bad hangnail. Jared, who's the guy that's coming in to replace him?
It's Chubba.
Yeah.
Chubba.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dave, do you think that too?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've expressed my concern that it's going to be more than a hangnail many times on this show over the last few months. I think Jeff Sims has a track record of getting injured, and there's no reason to expect that he's going to start all 12 games. So I think Chubba Purdy's probably going to start a game this year.
I would agree with you, Dave. Based on the press conference yesterday too, the way that I believe Rule himself was praising Purdy like a lot, saying how much he's improved and come along this fall and in the spring and everything. So I agree with you